But his innocence.
Alright, we're live, and only 14 minutes late. Sorry, I had to wait on some players who were a little busy, but we are here now. So, welcome back after a 2-week hiatus, which really, really made me sad. But it could not be helped. This is Everybody Loves Raiken, the 5e Let's Play podcast, 5e Live Play podcast. I can talk. Following the antics of my 7-player party. And what did we do last time? Last time, on the last episode when we met 3 weeks ago...
God, it's been so long.
It has been a long time. You guys finished talking with the Archmage of Bromdor, Nalia, who is in the city of Tuca. She explained her reasons for being there, that she no longer felt safe in Volinar, the capital city, with the decisions that the Lord Urken was making, which included utilizing the forced drow labor they have there in order to begin digging new mines for resources to power his war machine. On top of other warlike decisions he had been making. So she fled to Tuca and met you here, where she returned the spellbook to Larmendis and met the Dimension Hopper Nerevar, and is at this time learning to enchant and disenchant items from him. A power you know is sorely lacking in this world after talking with Nerevar, who comes from a place where such magic is commonplace. After that, most of the party, meaning everybody except for Larmendis, went to try and free a captive named Lynn, who is a friend of Vendar, whom he knows from the city of Tuca. She was being held by a gang known as the Sandalor Gang in exchange for the magic lockpicks, which, according to Vendar, she had given him when last they met. The exchange did occur. The halfling took the magic lockpicks, and the party got Lynn back. But in the midst of it all, Cyrus tried to intimidate these ruffians by claiming heritage to a ancient red dragon. What this ended up doing was inciting one of the members of the gang to sick his guards on the rest and remove them from the vicinity, whereupon he interrogated Cyrus and the party as to his lineage and the status of this red dragon. Hang on. Okay. I was watching the audio spikes and not seeing jumps. I'm like, no, I haven't done it again, have I? We're good. As far as I can tell, we're good. Yeah, I see people sniffing. Good. Okay, sorry. I had a heart attack right there. I'm like, no, not again. I haven't been getting audio. Now then. A fight very nearly ensued. But the member, this Dragonborn, who identified himself as Dusty, explained that he was a member of an ancient order known as the Platinum Sentinels, whose job it was to ensure that the children of Tiamat stayed dormant, and their job had been going smoothly for the last 1,000 years. He claimed he was aware that Bala, the ancient green dragon, had risen some time ago, but when it was suggested to him that Karasoth, the ancient red dragon, might have risen as well, he very much lost his cool. He explained as best he could everything he explained as best he could everything he needed the party to know about the scale of Shisharan, an item that he was under the impression they had stolen from the Sandalor Gang, explaining that it was the sole method, or the best method at least, of returning the ancient black dragon Shisharan to life. And the party postulated that it had been, or realized it had been taken by Lynn and given to this Mr. Johnson, who they've postulated is in the service of the Black Dragon. And so now they are going to meet with Dusty again, this time with Laramentis, to discuss the implications of all of these things they have learned. So we pick up where we left off last time, which was after the party finally got to sleep. Laramentis woke up early, or on time really, and went to the Temple of Ione to begin telling the story of the party's encounters within the treasure vault of Garland. And that is where the party found him and convinced him that he needed to leave with them, which the priestesses, the clerics of Ione, have indicated is a bad choice. So,
be getting him back as soon as possible.
I think the last thing that happened was that Jebel had sold the wooden lancer, jouster, supposedly belonging to the last king of Garland, to the Temple of Ione for 35 platinum pieces. And then they had left with him.
They had 35 plat in that thing?
Yeah, he made the deal right in front of you, so you're aware that he received 35 platinum pieces in exchange for the wooden toy.
That's a really good price.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, it is. So, we are picking up with the party on its way out of the Temple of Ione. Laramentis, I can tell you that Ash is very verbal about the fact that he does not want to leave until the information has been transmitted to the temple.
If things are as dire as the party is making things sound, and we need to get in touch with Zeltharis, then that must be done quickly. And if we do get in touch with her, then we can return quickly and leave this all in her hands.
Not to mention, this is in the pursuit of new knowledge. This is finding out what the current state of the other dragons are in. I'd say this is rather important.
You see that the Ion Stone turns toward Cyrus and says, "I will not barter with the truth, Cyrus. All of it is important, and
Indeed.
we have a duty to return this truth to the Temple of Ione."
Indeed.
But we're currently on a timetable.
I don't think they'll be letting us get this truth if we wait. So if we go and get it now, we can come back and give both. Or we could give just one now.
You are the scholar. You have my feelings on the matter.
I understand. Now, this, I turn to the party. This Dragonborn that you had discussed things with, what was he like?
I give a quick description of him.
And he seemed trustworthy enough to go to a location of his choosing.
I wonder if Jebel wants to contribute to that description, given that he had a more intimate encounter with the man.
Who did I have an encounter with?
He punched you in the face.
He's the one to knock you out.
At least Dusty was it?
Yeah, Dusty was the Dusty was the Dragonborn who, when you were sneaking around as a rat, heard you chewing on the carpet and
then
electrocuted you, and then interrogated you and when you wouldn't say more than, "I want to sleep," got fed up and punched you in the face. When you woke up later, the rest of the gang was gone. It was just him there, and he was no longer putting on the airs of a haughty gang member. He was very much looked like a deflated old man at that point, and he looked very much defeated. And when you asked what was going on, the only responses you got were two of the party members telling you the end of the world.
Yep, that sounds like our style.
Yep.
Oh yeah, I remember commenting that I remembered him.
So
Jebel commented that he remembered him.
okay. Fine. Then, Laramendus, Cyrus describes an average-sized dragonborn, putting him, around Raiken's height, and build, and, maybe a bit shorter, with,
And not as awesome.
with bronze blue scales, much like Raiken's own.
He doesn't have the magical girl armor.
He did not have magical girl armor. He didn't even appear to be armed outside of a dagger on his belt and wearing, light leather armor. He very much looked like a gang member, especially when he had puffed himself up when he was interrogating Jebel. Jebel's contribution is, I remember that guy.
What do you mean?
Wow, it's almost like it was yesterday.
I mean, I don't know if we can trust him, but it's new and most likely worthwhile information.
He was a protector of what kept the dragon sleeping. That's just reason enough.
Well, to be fair, that's what he says. We don't really know much of anything.
So we got enough on our hands dealing with one of Tiamat's children. We don't want another one up.
Might be too late for that.
How much do you know about this ritual that is able to be performed in an extremely short amount of time that can bring back from the dead a dragon that died many, many years ago?
Well,
I'm not
according
familiar with any magics that can do that.
according to them, not dead. But, can I roll Arcana?
Yeah, you can roll Arcana. What do you want to know?
I want to know if I know anything about this. Like, if this possibly was ever mentioned by my father. Anything along these lines.
Then also history.
Okay. Do I have inspiration? Because that was poopy.
I don't know. Do you?
I'm finding out. Because I forgot to get on the character sheet.
Well, that sounds like a mistake. Sounds important.
Yep. That would be what those are. Yep. I'm gonna roll history in the meantime. History was better. History is 18.
Okay. What do you guess your total Arcana roll was?
Well, we're gonna find out. I know what it is if I can't re-roll. I'm just seeing if I have inspiration.
What kind of magic was Laramendus not sure about? Would they be effects of a spell that could...
Resurrect or
Yeah,
like
the
wake up
existence
the
of this
dragons.
spell.
Yeah.
Wait, what?
Because I'm working under the... So, Laramendus stated that he's working under the assumption that the dragon was dead.
Mm-hmm.
And
And
Laramendus has previously
is-
stated that he doesn't know anything about necromancy.
That's true. He has made very clear to most of the... Not Jebel. Jebel doesn't know that Laramendus slept through all of his necromancy lessons, or at least most of them.
I thought that way it was made clear in Garland, but it must have been before that.
Well,
Yeah, because I don't think he rolled...
I think by then you knew. You didn't know. You're just like, no, we already determined this. I'm not rolling.
Stopped rolling about undead.
The
So
fairy
Laramendus...
tales-
said that he doesn't know of magic that can do this. And
The fairy tales only tell about capturing or like the sealing of the dragons. They never get reawakened in those.
No, I want to know what it is. No, the specifics of what Laramanus wants to know, because I know spells that could do something, but it's like I don't know exactly what it is Laramanus is asking.
I went under the assumption that if you break the seal, you wake the dragon. I thought it was that simple.
Yeah, he seemed to suggest that the dragon wasn't actually dead. It was just like sealed away, and they had the key to the seal.
can I roll history? Does that jive with what I would be aware of?
You may roll history. It could have come up in one of your classes. Malachi had tried to ask a question earlier.
Oh, sorry.
No, I'm good. That's fine.
I get a 27.
Okay.
I love
long
rolling
has-
knowledge checks. I love them so much.
Now, on the opposite end of that scale, there's me. I got Arcana with a 6.
Okay.
How long?
Because that is the
do-
lowest I can roll.
You are not aware of any spells, especially ones that you could possibly perform, or rituals of any nature, that would have anything to do with binding, resurrecting, awakening, or any possible combination of words that have been going on in this discussion, ancient chromatic dragons. From a historical standpoint, with your 18 and your father, I would say that he would have been vocal about opposing chromatic dragons, but never suggested anything about the children of Tiamat, because that just seems like an improbability.
Alright. Makes sense, but I had to try.
Also, given the way your father raised you and treated you, you would know that while you should oppose chromatic dragons, if you ever feel like you're in over your head, get the hell out.
Tristan,
Yeah.
would Raiken possibly have knowledge of anything with the Black Dragon, considering that maybe he was taught lessons about the great Chagrazier and him so-called slain?
Yeah, so you may
Black
roll
dragon.
history for that.
I got a 21.
Okay. So it's very it's the very popular story that is told on Arcosia, or was told on Arcosia, was of how the ancient champion of Bahamut, Chagrazier, had led the people of Toralos out of that country to protect them from the designs of the Black Dragon Shisharan, that she had been trying to destroy the Dragonborn people and any who would stand against the Chromatic Dragons and their right to rule the world or destroy it as they saw fit. And Shisharan especially wanted to start by crushing the Dragonborn of Toralos, and so he led them out and founded Arcosia 1,000 years ago. The stories talk about how, as he was leading them out, she dogged their path until she was defeated by him, but that's the word that's used. They never say slain, or killed, or sealed. They always say defeated.
Okay. Interesting.
Now, whether or not that's propaganda, that's for you to
Yeah.
decide, but
Mm.
the official stories always use the phrase defeated. When people tell it around the dinner table, you might hear all these, very graphic descriptions of how he killed her in various different ways to make him seem more heroic or badass. But the official story is defeated.
Very well. Okay, thank you.
Okay, going back to
Lar-
did Laramanus actually ask this question? Like he vocalized it?
Yes, I was asking the party if they had any confirmation about the fact that this ritual that could be cast in a short amount of time to bring back this dragon that is many, many, many years gone.
Yeah, but like how many? Do we know how many?
does my 27, can it just carry over for that kind of information? Because I would have some idea of a time frame.
I mean, yeah.
Like when was Arcosia founded?
Yes. History tells you Arcosia was founded about 1,000 years ago, almost exactly. And all the stories that you are familiar with, because both of just world history and because it's folklore, is that one dragonborn in particular is credited with founding Arcosia by mass exodus of another country, Toralos, 1,000 years ago.
Mm-hmm.
Also,
years. I will convey to Jibble.
Oh no, you weren't there. Never mind.
Yeah, I was not there 1,000 years ago.
No! I was going to say, Vendar and Raiken and Leah. Although Leah can't read Draconic. Vendar can read Draconic, right?
I can roll.
You couldn't
That's
back then. Okay, so Raiken was there and could read it. You know the exact dates that the Champion of Bahamut, the Scion of Arcosia, Shagrazir, is credited to have lived and died, because they were written on the wall in the palace in the seat of Bahamut.
I have information.
And you had done the math then and found it was almost exactly 1,000 years earlier.
Then Raiken will tell Laramendis this knowledge.
Hold on. This was in Arcosia. That's when I still was on the Zephyr, right?
Yeah.
Then I could read it too, because I had the
you
Runekeeper.
had Eyes of the Runekeeper. Right. Okay, so then yes, you could read that.
Do I, as a druid, have knowledge of spells that I don't have the ability to cast yet? I think we ruled on that before.
My rule on that before was that you are aware of them and their effects, but the exact details, things like what limitations might be there, what their spell components are, their duration, or those kinds of details were not necessarily known to you. You could roll for it though.
What am I rolling? Is that Arcana? Is it?
Well, you're a divine caster, so you would roll religion.
It makes no difference either way. It's the same modifier. It's a 10.
Okay. So, which spell are you trying to know the details of?
True Resurrection.
You are aware that it is it's the most powerful of the resurrection spells, and that it has the ability to fix or change almost anything. But based on your roll, that's kind of it. You know generally that it's very powerful and that it might be enough, but you're not entirely certain.
But I would know from the fact that it's resurrection that it
can resurrect the dead, yes.
Yeah, I'm intelligent enough to make...
Oh, yeah. No, my reason for saying that your understanding of it is limited is because there are other resurrection spells, and they have limited amounts of time in which they can work. Like, Revivify must be cast within, 10 minutes or 1 minute. Must be cast within 1 minute of something dying. Or it doesn't work.
Okay, so I know that it's a very powerful spell, but I don't know of any limitations.
You're not certain what the limitations are. You do know that it differs from other resurrection spells because it has the ability to fix or change things about the person you're resurrecting.
Okay. Then I'll raise my hand when Larmendus asks his question.
Yes?
Well, I know of a spell that can resurrect the dead. I don't fully understand it yet. Hopefully I will someday. But I don't know, there might be some limitations on it. I don't know. But so yeah, I mean I think it might be entirely possible that something could bring someone back from the dead.
From 1,000 years?
Mm.
Yep, that's about what I'd expect.
I don't know, like I said, I don't know the full details of it yet. It's a bit beyond my understanding yet. It's a fairly powerful spell, to be honest.
I turn to Ash. Since that would have made sense earlier. Are you aware of any spells that could bring something back from 1,000 years?
He rolled a 2.
He rolled a 2?
Someone give me your inspiration, quick!
Does he not have advantage from being, like, within hucking distance of the Temple of Ione?
He rolled a 1?
Okay. At least he had advantage.
That was good. Way to go, Ash. Thank you. Making me proud, buddy.
It's like he just kind of bops there for a second and goes, hold on, and then just heads into life.
Scholar, I have been exclusively assigned to wizards.
He just kind of shrugs.
It's sort of my specialty within the purview of Ione's servants at this point. I can go find us a book on the subject, however. There is an entire library at our disposal. Might I suggest some reading? Light or otherwise.
When did you say that we were meeting with Dusty? I turn to the group. Like, while turning to the group, my body turns toward the temple.
It was supposed to be this morning, if I recall.
I guess
it's kind of the afternoon.
Put you out front here. Yeah, it's like 1:30 p.m.-ish now. Actually, I don't even have to put an ish because I had determined already. Ugh, I didn't draw it because I'm super smart. Give me just a tick. Put it in green, because green's a nice color.
Tick.
Shut up. Oh no, that's the wrong... Colored the wrong thing green. This one needs to be green. Yeah, nice and slime green. Perfect. That'll do. This was something I had devised last week when we were off. I was like, why didn't I have something like this? I'm putting something like this in. This is, in fact, effectively a giant mechanical clock tower. In all capitals. Because it's big. It does not appear like there could be a water clock this size. This is something else, but you do, you know, and as it's right across from the Temple of Ione, you can hear it. Well, clicking seems like the wrong word for how loud the noise is, but, you know, ticking. You can hear the lurch and crunch of giant gears within it. So you know, unequivocally, that it is 1:30.
All right. So this magic that can bring back the black dragon might exist. We're not sure. So let's assume that it does. And he did the party tell Laramendus the entire like contents of the conversation with Dusty for like time frame stuff? Like, does Laramendus know that they've had 8 days to do this and the place isn't 8 days away and the thing takes like an hour?
Yes, that was covered by Cyrus the night before.
Entirely likely that the Black Dragon's already awake.
When Bala woke up, it was mildly noticeable for the surrounding area.
Well,
speaking as someone who was in the surrounding area.
Well, there could be something slowing down or stopping Mr. Johnson. Perhaps, I mean,
why we should hurry?
Vindar told me doesn't sound particularly capable. He might have got killed or robbed along the way.
Or maybe he had to go find other kobolds or something.
Are they what? I don't know what you're talking about.
Have I not said that I'm pretty sure it was a kobold? I'm pretty sure I've said
I don't know
that.
what you're talking about. Those don't exist. Those aren't a thing.
Oh, is this where we found out Cyrus is actually like 3 kobolds in a suit?
Are you kidding me? I'm not tall enough for that.
He's just a single kobold.
Really well disguised kobold.
Yeah. Those scales, they aren't dragon scales. He's just a kobold.
He's not actually the son of a dragon. He just wishes he was. Legally changed name to Gold Dragon Jr.
Earn Gold Dragon's approval.
I mean,
Anywho.
I'm trying. We'll see how this goes.
So it sounds like the answer is yes, that you were given those details. You know that it takes less than 8 days to get from here to where the Platinum Sentinels believe the Black Dragon rests, and that it takes less than 1 day to perform the ritual required to bring it back.
Okay. And are we guaranteed our safety? Should we meet with this dusty fellow? He was working with thieves who robbed you.
I mean, technically, they didn't actually rob. I guess
They were getting back what they had robbed from somebody before.
technically they were robbed. Not by me, I swear. But I did have their stuff.
All right. He was still working with thieves.
Well, they were undercover.
Not answering my
Anyway.
question about guarantees of safety.
Again, I don't think we have one, but I think the chance of this information being real is too good to pass up.
It's certainly too dangerous to ignore.
But I suppose we shall be careful. Let's go and get this over with quick.
Okay, so if there are no objections, the party is going to go to the location that was given them by Dusty. Yes?
Yes, but there's something I'd like to do along the way.
What is that?
I wanted to ask Vindar what he managed to grab from the other halfling.
Unfortunately, I didn't get my picks back. I got some card decks. Probably cheating card decks, and then a tarot card deck.
Tarot deck. Mind if I take a look at that while we walk?
Sure.
I'd like to subtly cast Detect Magic on it.
Okay.
Well, on me, and look at it while we're walking.
Sure. It is not magical.
Worth a look.
Yep. It is. So I'm gonna need whoever wants to be leading the group on this venture to make a survival check to navigate the city to a address that you've never been to before.
You got it.
On it.
Didn't we ask one of the clerics for directions before we left?
Did you?
Also, I think we did. It's possible.
Are we that smart?
That's a very good question.
I think Laramentis is that smart.
Roll common sense.
That's a wisdom check. So Laramentis isn't that good. I rolled a 17 on die.
Okay. You get directions from the clerics of my own. Oh, wait, no. I remember now. You decided not to ask her because you were already betraying her by leaving.
Oh no, I wasn't going to ask her.
Oh, you
There are a
find
lot of
a
clerics.
different cleric. Got you. I see how it is. Let's just spread the betrayal around a little. Okay. Yes. A different
Yeah.
cleric gives you
My
the
wisdom is
directions.
just +0, so it was a 17.
You catch one of them in the almanacs area of the library, and they quickly pull out a rolled scroll from amongst others in a bin, a crate, I should say, and unroll it on the table, and you see it is a very detailed street-level map of the city, with indicators for important locations, and you can see from the writing on the edge that this was taken from census data and updated in the last 3 years.
Okay, yeah. So my role is just bullshit. It didn't really work much, but I need to remind of my urgent features, city secrets.
Okay.
Yeah, you know this the secret pattern and flow to cities and can find passages through the urban sprawl that others would miss. When you're not in combat, you and the companions you lead can travel between any two locations in the city twice as fast as your speed will normally allow.
Ah, very nice. So they give you the directions, and then Leah, while looking at this map, you go, okay. And as you're walking down the streets, you do take side paths and shortcuts, and alleyways that normally would be avoided, but it does get you there much more quickly. Is anyone's passive perception above a 22?
Wendar?
Yes.
Okay. Nobody else?
Nope.
Nope.
Yeah,
right.
absolutely not.
Okay.
I have a 14.
A 14.
I
Nice.
have a 9.
It's close.
I have
close.
a
Mine is 25.
16.
Obscene.
Okay.
25.
So you
Always
know,
on high alert.
and eventually you come to this address. Get out of that building, Leah.
Dang it, Leah.
So I need to very
Stop facing into walls.
quickly
Not by fault. Someone put
send
that wall in my
message
way.
to my friend Jacob.
I'll go drink real quick.
I misspelled that word wrong. I misspelled it wrong. Yes.
Yeah, you
Shush.
misspelled
Leave me
it
alone. So I spelled it right. Aren't I awesome?
I tried to misspell it and I couldn't do it.
I don't remember the Addams Family cartoon.
Which was there only one?
There was an
I guess
Addams Family cartoon like in the late 90s, early 2000s, I think it was.
Yeah, I watched it, but I suddenly started. I was about to say which one, and then I suddenly realized I don't think there ever was more than one. But yeah, the one in the 90s, I watched that. You didn't know this paper? Yes, there was. It was better than the live action films, at least.
Early 90s. But there was just an episode where Gomez was trying to fail at something because he thought he was too perfect, and everything he tried, he succeeded. And then it's at the end, the wife, what was her name?
Morticia.
Morticia was just like, darling, you failed at failing.
You failed at failing. And this renewed his vigor.
Yes.
Okay, I have sent my message to Jacob.
Anybody else noticing these bodies seem kind of odd? These people? We say as we pass some-
I'm concerned that you referred to them first as bodies.
As bodies.
I didn't.
Is there a discussion we need to have?
Allow me to give
People are
some
just
context.
Bodies with life in them.
Allow me to give some context that
Right.
Jacob has deprived you of.
I did, totally.
As you make your way from like across, like a quarter of the city here, like this entire sector that I did not flesh out, rather than taking main streets, Leah is leading you down like back alleys and like side streets and just slummy little pathways that you might not have otherwise noticed to get you here more quickly. So rather than it taking like another hour and a half, it only takes about 45 minutes to get here. You are seeing, as one may expect in these slummy little side streets, that there are people, homeless and beggars and drunkards sprawled out sleeping or unconscious drunk in the alleys. That's what he's referring to when he says these bodies.
That is good.
Yes.
That does help.
Do we need to have a discussion?
I see bodies everywhere. I see dead people.
The poor and unfortunate dwell in these kind of streets. There's nothing
Yeah,
we can
but-
do about them right now.
So I'll point out one and say, that one looks to be wearing a guard's uniform, or a tabard.
So we'll move
So-
back over this way.
Shall we stop and
I mean,
check
unless
them
the
out?
party doesn't want to stop and look at what he's talking about. Which maybe they don't.
I mean, I'm going to begin approaching the fellow, I suppose, and say, well, we need to check if he's okay.
Do we?
If he's one of the guards?
Or he stole one of the guards' uniform and is waiting for an ambush.
Is he breathing?
That's what I want to go and check.
I'm back.
Welcome back.
Can I tell if he's breathing from as we walk past?
That's not a good sign.
Oh yeah, that's right. Derek, roll a new character.
Okay, I need some D6.
We'll go with that for now. So it's a block of a lot of, kind of small and medium-sized buildings here.
Derek, you don't literally have to roll. It was a joke.
I know, but I'm continuing the joke my own way because it's funny for me.
So you are going to go... No, the answer is, as you're walking by... This is something that just caught your eye as you were walking by this alleyway here. As you can see, it's very tight back here. And so you just suddenly stop, and the rest of the party, like, thuds to a halt behind you, and you say, did you guys see that?
See what?
This is gonna explode.
Well, no, we're all
What?
back here.
Okay. Before it has a chance to break, quick save. Let's see if I have Usable token for this. Yeah, that's great. I think the answer is going to be no, and I'm going to have to go get one. I'll just grab this one for now. We'll just call it a, it's a, so, there appears to be a person wearing the colors of the city watch, or the city guard there. So who is going to approach it as Vendar points it out? Is anyone?
Laramentus is going to move to approach if no one's stopping him.
I'm not doing it.
I'm preparing to fight in case there's an ambush.
Be a shitty place for it.
Right. So you get within 10 feet, and you can see that it does appear to be a well-built female tiefling. They appear to be unconscious. At this range, you can see that their back rises and falls as they lay in the slop-soaked cobbles of this alley. It does not smell good back here. They do appear to be alive.
They're alive, but unconscious. I don't have any way of waking them up. I was perhaps not the best choice for this.
Just shake them.
I will try to wake them up. Does it seem like they're asleep, or are they unconscious? Excuse me, ma'am.
I mean, it's at 10 feet away. You cannot tell the difference. The difference is, do they wake up or do they not?
I approach to get closer, and I'm like, "Excuse me, ma'am," and I reach out to try and see if she's wounded and unconscious, or just fell asleep drunk or something.
Okay. As you reach out and you get close and crouch down next to her and reach for her shoulder and say, "Excuse me, ma'am," right as your fingers graze her, you can feel that she has chain on underneath the tabard.
Mm-hmm.
And she shudders somewhat under your fingers, and you can see her limbs begin to move, and you hear this, "Oh, my bleeding head." And she slowly pushes herself off of her face and rolls onto her side, groans again, and kind of allows her body to fall onto her back. And she seems to look at you through very squinted eyes.
Are you quite all right?
No, I'm not all right. My bloody head hurts. Who are you?
I'm Laramentus. I'm a traveler here. You. Can I help you? I move to help her stand up.
As you approach, she puts her hands in front of her face wardingly, like you're going to attack for a moment. And she reaches out, grasping around the ground next to her, probing for it while still holding her other hand in front of her wardingly. And says, "I don't know who you are, mister, but where the hell is my weapon? Where am I?"
I give my best description of where we are in the city, I suppose. I'm sorry, I don't know the names of the neighborhoods.
You're in an alley.
Shout from the corner of the alley.
That was helpful.
I'll be like trying to wiggle my way between Raiken just to stick my head around the corner.
Can I remember what the street will be named, or like the closest named street be based on the map we looked at?
Yeah, I'm not gonna make up a name. I can just say you know the name of like the cross street out here.
Okay. I'm gonna approach and give her a description of where we are. Like name that street and say that we just passed it.
She's going to lower her warding hand and say, "You're rather personable for pickpockets."
I mean, you never would have seen us if we were pickpockets.
Really? That's your answer? We're not pickpockets.
She's going to struggle her way to her feet. She seems very unsteady.
I am going to move to like help steady her if she's not going to like brush me away.
Okay, you may roll.
But I assume that she might if she thinks I'm a pickpocket.
Roll athletics.
Oh, that's not good. That's a 13.
She rolled poorly. So, she struggles against you for a moment and then, can see that you're seems to like oh. Thank you. I don't understand.
We're on our way to meet a captain named Dusty. Is he an acquaintance of yours?
She, blinks at you a few times, and looks at Laramendus. Sort of like all of these faces peering around the edge of the alley.
There are a lot of us, which is probably mildly concerning for her.
What time is it?
At this point, it's a bit after 2. Around, you said it was 45 minutes that we've been traveling?
So it's a little after 2 right now.
Yeah.
About 2:15. Well, according to my patrol, I should have been through here an hour ago. Which means I've been out for an hour.
Sounds like you was ambushed.
Where's my helmet?
I look around. Do I see a helmet?
Yeah, roll me an investigation check, or a perception check, really.
That is a 15.
Okay. You do notice a grime-covered helmet, sort of like over at this corner, like it had been rolled a ways. You can see that it's got a sheen of rotting garbage slime on it. The other thing you notice about it is that there is a sizable dent in the top of it.
Okay. I believe that might be it there at the corner, and it does appear that someone hit you quite hard.
I thought that was a bucket.
Can I can hear this, can I?
Yeah.
Yeah, you're all... She's not being necessarily quiet, but it's also a confined space with echoey walls.
Okay, then I'm going to come up.
Oof. Now the line is over here.
With the wizard in the front. It's always a good thing.
Double
I'm
move.
going to ask
See, I
Leah
told
if
you.
I can get past her.
Oh yeah, you can double move.
I've told you this is why I was worried about ambush. Ambushes happen in these kind of corners. I know. I used to be one of them.
So then shouldn't we have been following the main streets? I believe that's the direction.
That would take way longer. And we're in a hurry.
Okay. Can I? What would I roll to examine the alleyway to see if I can find footprints or anything that would?
It's a survival check.
Yeah.
And I want to emphasize on in a hurry. We should really get a move on.
If it's survival, that is a 14.
Okay. The alleyway is a mess of tracks and footprints in garbage slime. So the answer to your question, if you find footprints, is yes. Do you find any useful, helpful footprints you could follow? No. It looks like this area is frequented, and by the people that you've seen along the way, they're all like vagrants picking through garbage trying to survive.
Well, sad to see this has happened to you. We should get going.
Yeah, I can't actually find any useful.
Would you grab her helmet while you're there, though?
Okay. And I pick it up and I hand it back over.
I would offer to clean it for you, but we have been informed that casting magic is not a good idea.
She accepts the helmet from the halfling who's, like, slid past her through the grime and, like, scooped up this nasty helmet.
He's a gnome.
Excuse me.
Excuse me, gnome.
Racist.
Ugh, small thing.
He's a little fuck. No one cares.
And as you pick it up, first of all, you notice that it is grimy and nasty and stanky, and secondly, the big dent in the top of it looks like someone's skull should be cracked. And she like kind of almost timidly like takes it from you, like she's very overwhelmed by this people all around her just when she was unconscious. And she looks at the dent and she reaches up and you can see that she's like gingerly palpating one of her horns. And she winces in pain as she does so. Bastards! Ah! When I find out who did this... Wait. She quickly, like, reaches around to her pouch. And, like, rifles through it and, like, pulls it around to the front of her belt and starts going through it like a fanny pack. They've taken everything.
Was there something important?
Sorry.
My money?
How much did you have?
Fucking pickpockets. 50 gold? I try not to carry too much, but drinking's expensive.
I hand her 50 gold.
You're not going to insight to see if that was the actual number?
Eh.
she like
Philanthropist.
you just like jingle and hold out like this fistful of coins, and she like honestly is like this expression of complete disbelief washes over her face, and she reaches down a grimy leather glove and you dump the coins into her hand. She goes, I don't know what to say to this.
Say yes.
Or thank
I'm
you.
gonna go with thank you. Who did you say I have to thank?
Leah, and the Order of the Sacred Flame. We're here on a mission for the guards currently. Or a meeting with the guards.
Oh, guards. I thought you said gods at first.
Oh, we're on a mission from
guards.
Gad.
Yeah, a mission
No,
for
we're
guards.
not the Blues Brothers.
Well,
Blues Brothers.
I haven't
I get
been,
that reference.
I haven't been informed of your mission, but okay.
As previously said, we're meeting with Dusty. We should have been meeting in this morning, but we overslept.
Can we escort you to somewhere that is not this alleyway?
Well, we should be directly near a crossroads here. There should be guards out there who I can speak with. You said you knew magic for cleaning?
Yes.
What spell precisely?
Prestidigitation.
I grant you permission to use prestidigitation because I'm not going out there like this.
Wonderful. I use prestidigitation.
You see that she is, like, prepared to strike if anything else happens. Not that it would do her any good if you chose a different spell.
I choose
Would mending fix
fireball.
that?
But she watches she watches as your magic springs from your hand and winds around her in a glimmering trail, and as it moves over her body, the grime and the slime and the smell are pulled away by the magic. And she lets out this long-held breath and says, "Thank you. I will not soon forget the deeds of the Order of the Sacred Flame. I will inquire with my superiors as to how I might help you in the future."
For now, thanks if is enough.
Did we ever mention her name?
Yes.
I did.
Okay.
I believe we should get going from here.
Indeed.
Yes, we're in a hurry.
Welcome to the city of Tuca. Watch your ass out there.
Oh, we will.
And she is going to trudge her armored boots, slipping in the slick grime, around the corner past Jebel, who she will give an approving nod at as she passes, still gingerly massaging her right horn as it curls back over her head. As she disappears down the alley, you can see that her tail is flicking uncomfortably like a cat's.
I lean over to Laramendes. Do they feel with their horns?
I assume that they can. This is Sam now, not Laramie. I assume that, if you get whacked in the horn as a tiefling, you'd feel it.
Yeah. Like with any other horned animal, such as goats, from which they're based, those are bones and there are nerve endings in it, so if it were to be bashed or broken, it would be very painful. Now, they're very hard, and they do use them, or goats at least, use them for fighting for territory, but that doesn't mean it doesn't hurt.
Leah doesn't know that.
Okay. Well, I'm answering Lair. Or Sam, rather.
Yes, if the horns get bumped or anything like that, they would feel it, like stubbing a toe or something.
Interesting. Now can I get a move on?
You cut out here, and you see her moving slowly down the street. You can see that there are other guard patrols around, and she is heading toward one of them. Leah and the people who know the way from the temple come up to this building here, which seems to be an austere white stone building, different from a lot of the other buildings that are sandstone and therefore brown or tan or beige in color. This seems to be granite on the exterior, and its design is different. All of the buildings in this blue neighborhood share a similar, I would say, Western design. that differs from a lot of the rest of the city you've been around, which seems to be these sandstone multi-tier hovels, if anything. There is a large door. I guess I can quickly mark that. Put it approximately centered here. So, you are before the building. Was there? How would you like to go about this?
Knock.
Yeah, what if no one moves to knock? I move to knock, but Leah's in front of me.
Sounds like
and she's
Leah's
not,
knocking.
so-
I'm knocking.
Knocking.
I'm knocking like Anna in Frozen.
Okay. There is a seemingly long period of silence before you start to hear noises inside, which sound like a person approaching the door. I know what the issue is. Sorry. There we go. Okay. Right. So, there does seem to be a protracted silence before you start to hear, kind of echoey footsteps, approaching the door. Heavy, booted feet on stone is what it sounds like. And then the door, you hear a crunch, and the door sort of pulls in, somewhat. And you can see about, half of a tall, armored Goliath, staring down with, through one eye slit of a steel helmet, at you, Leah. And he says, "Yes, what can you be done for?"
Done for?
We have an appointment with Dusty.
I lean over to Wenda this time. Are we done for?
He looks. You see the eye trace its way up to you, Laramendus. Says, "What's that you say? What are you here to see?"
Dusty?
Ah, I see. You are a Sacred Flame, yes?
Yes.
He's just like this low grumble in the back of his throat, and he kind of, you see him somewhat disappear, and the door opens wider, and you hear him call around it and say, "Very well, come in quickly."
So we go in. Yes. You
Yes.
coming?
I
Yes, I follow.
Leah and Bendar are in front of me
Yeah.
at the door.
Vänta. I didn't know I needed to confirm.
I mean, this seems like a situation where people should be confirming their actions from me, without me just assuming what you do.
I'm going to go inside.
I'm going home.
Is it
then.
lit
Okay, see
inside?
you guys, bye. Yeah, I'm going
As you step through the door, you find that it is candlelit inside, but you notice that despite that it is it's like 2:30, and the sun is high, all the light is flame, or something akin. So Jubble goes home.
Yep. See you, losers.
Raiken
Jebel's
joins into the building.
Oh, okay.
I thought you were going to say Raiken joins Jebel.
That's why I paused briefly.
That would be the Raiken thing to do.
Pause or join Jebel.
Yuki?
Both.
Someone's got to keep these fools in check.
And Jebel just leaves, and we're like, all right, see you later.
Do I notice? Is Jebel actually leaving?
No, that's what we refer to as a joke.
Okay. That's what I
heard of those before.
expected.
As soon as all of you are inside, you can see that you are in a large foyer area beyond this door, and that beyond there is an open floor plan with a large staircase leading up to a second-tier balcony. And around the foyer and around the balcony, where there are not doors into rooms, there are windows, and all of them are blacked out with curtains. There is no natural light coming in.
What type of curtains are there? Are they
Like
flower patterns or?
no, like black,
Huh.
like layers
Paisley.
of black,
Paisley everywhere.
layers of black dyed silk.
Could need a little women's touch.
And as you enter and you see this, you take this in, you can also see that there are multiple people moving around. Several of these Goliaths in their city guard armor, moving from one room to another. You can hear them conversing within the rooms as it comes out into the atrium. It comes to your ears. You also see, even just from where you're standing, several Dragonborn moving about within, of all different color scales. I would say that from where you're standing, you notice, at least 6 people as they move between rooms. And as you're taking this in, there's a sudden echoing thud as the heavy door closes behind you. And the Goliath who admitted you says, "I will get Dusty to see to you."
Thank you.
I jump as the door closes behind me.
And he goes past taking almost no notice of Leah's reaction. He walks past the inner staircase, which, I guess I could do stuff with the interior, couldn't I? This inner staircase, which is, here-ish, and then leads up to this upper story balcony.
Pink and blue, lovely. Why not add a little red in there?
Too late. Already did.
That is my joke. I saw you adding the red.
Oh, okay. He moves off past the staircase into a room, beneath the balcony. You hear some words being exchanged, and then he comes back, out and says, "Dusty will be seeing to you. Move these guys to different locations so it's a little less crowdy. There we go." And he sort of, gestures with just the movement of his head for you to go through the door that he had come from. And then he moves back toward the door that you came in.
Follow, I guess.
You find that through the door is a long office, and this back wall, back being from the door, is taken up by Dusty and 2 people who are standing over him with weapons in their hands, like guards.
Hi. Sorry for being late. This is Larry Mendes, we filled him in.
Dusty is, as they described, a somewhat older, maybe middle-aged Dragonborn with the blue bronze scales similar to Raiken's. He's still wearing leather armor, but you can see, even from his position as he stands leaned over a desk, looking at several scattered pages on it, that he is now wearing a longsword. And he looks up at the group and says, "I trust you slept as I recommended last night."
Yeah, sorry,
Wait
roommate.
ahead. I haven't slept that well in a while.
And his eyes seem to catch hold of Laramendis, and he focuses on him and says, "You I haven't met."
I
Yeah,
bumped
Leah
Laramander's
had
shoulder.
introduced me, but I'm not sure if that came across before. I'm Laramendis. I extend a hand or whatever would be an appropriate greeting in this area.
He reaches out, but rather than grasping your hand, he grasps your upper arm and simply squeezes onto it rather than shaking it in any way.
Okay.
Says, "I'm glad to know your friends have more allies in this fight, as that is what I'm sure it will be. You've been apprised of the situation, so you know how dire it is."
I have been told what transpired last night, yes?
And that is what Cyrus told me. I am sorry for using the guise of the Sand-Dollar Gang to meet with you, but it's been such a useful ruse for the past decade. It has come to light that the Scale of Shisharan is likely being used to bring back the Black Dragon as we speak. I have had my people here who can, since last night, divining the area. We've seen nothing. We've felt nothing in the last week. But we're not entirely certain what it's supposed to be like when one of these monsters regains its life.
He should know. He was-
If it's anything like when Bala arose, I will describe what happened on the how it was on that day. I was by the forest at the time.
Yes, he...
I'm telling him this is how I know this.
Yes, no, I'm aware. I was simply going to say...
Gather around, children. It's time for another story with Laramendis.
I'm not as long-winded as I could be.
So he listens quietly as you expound on the tremors, the sharp shuddering of the earth as though an earthquake, and the escaping of wildlife, especially flocks of birds, from the area. And says, "Well, this presents a boon and a problem. We haven't noticed any signs like that, and the Scale has been capable of resurrecting the dragon, we figure, for the last 4 days. Meaning it would take that long to get to the position where the dragon was known to have fallen. The problem it presents is that this is a desert. There are not flocks of wildlife or herds to go fleeing from such an event to give us warning. And the ground is not so solid and does not transmit seismic activity like it does elsewhere in the world. Which means it's entirely possible that these things have already happened and we are as yet unaware.
Aren't there vultures?
They do not flock. We would not notice any change in their pattern of movement because they do not have a pattern of movement.
Oh.
We
Sorry, I'm
need-
very new to that kind of bird, so I didn't know.
It's all right. I was not upset. That's just a hazard of my occupation and my age. I have seen a lot and worked very hard to prevent a great many more things, and this... We're in uncharted waters, as my father used to say.
Just a second.
Yes?
Jebel's going to take out his amulet.
That might work.
And he's going to speak in Druidic. And he's going to ask Syl if she has any way of finding out if anything unusual has happened in the desert.
Besides the lack of strange sandstorms.
Yeah, well, anything
Anything that we don't know about.
anything that has happened,
Any seismic activity,
that would explain, like,
which could potentially have drawn purple worms.
Hmm.
Any large amounts of movements like that. Were there any?
You speak your questions in Druidic, and the emerald sits lifeless in your palm for many seconds before it slowly pulses to life, glowing green and illuminating you from the back of the room. You all can see your shadows cast in harsh relief upon the walls of this very Spartan room. The walls within, by the way, are wood and plaster, not unlike some of the design you noticed in the dungeon, Laramendus, akin to the houses of the Empire of the Four Queens, but no decor. Not so much as a bookshelf. And you hear Syl's voice after a moment. And Syl says, Jebel, I was worried. We hadn't spoken in a while.
I'm going to... Is she speaking in Common? Or in Druidic?
No, she's speaking in Druidic initially.
I'll switch to Common. And you'll say, what was the last time? I talked to her before heading... It was the...
I think it was inside the dungeon, or, like, just before the dungeon. So it's
I remember talking to her in the dungeon. I think it was, like, when we found out about the Lich. I do recall that Jebel asked both Syl and Ash at the same time if they had information about the Lich.
Okay.
Didn't you bring her out with Naravar?
I don't think so.
I don't think so either.
No.
What he's talking about is the last memory I have of him communicating with Syl.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's the last thing I remember.
So, I mean, that was almost a week ago. He said, I've been watching your progress. I did manage to communicate with my friend Tuul. He's the spirit of the desert. He's supposed to watch the wildlife there.
Right.
He expresses his gratitude. We saw that the darkness had been lifted from the area. Since we haven't spoken since then, I hadn't had a chance to tell you, congratulations. You did good work.
So the Lich is actually dead?
The Lich is no longer in the desert, according to Tuul.
That's not the same thing as dead,
Yeah.
but
No.
good enough for now.
When you asked me, I inquired with Ta'ul about the nature of the creature, but most of anything that could be learned about the inside of the vault were hidden by her magic, or someone's magic.
Yeah, it was weird in there.
But, to your question, yes, there has recently been some disturbing things going on in the desert.
Oh no.
According to Ta'ul, the storms which have been raging across the desert for 500 years stopped.
Ah.
Yeah, that was us.
Oh yeah, those are apparently, we assume, caused by the Lich.
And then, the vault disappeared, taking with it several hundred tons of sand and stone, also several hundred animals.
Oh, not the animals.
You just see Cyrus scratching the back of his neck.
That was also us, though.
Yeah, that was an accident.
Laramentus looks very sad.
Leah looks sad too, but about
For different
completely
reasons.
different reasons.
That the Lich was experimenting with some very, very, very dangerous and unstable, apparently, magics.
I see. Well, I'm very glad for your safety. We will find a way to heal the desert. Ta'ul is already working at it.
I'm sure he'll have an easy
So
time
is
now
the
that she's gone.
Tanabushi. Yeah, the Tanabushi clan is working their way as well.
You mean the Dragonborn?
Yeah, they seem to have to be willing to settle permanently and start working on the desert there.
I see.
That's something.
It is good that life is being preserved and finding ways to survive. But there is
now-
one other issue.
Oh no.
Go on.
Ta'ul said that shortly after the storm stopped, there was... Well, I think earthquake is the wrong word for it. There's no earth out there, so it was a sandquake.
Where precisely?
I mean, you can't see her. There's just this glowing emerald with a root sprouting from it in the palm of Jebel's hand.
Yes, well, I'm used to talking to objects.
But you know, the pausing in her voice indicates that she's kind of like. You can imagine that she's looking around and trying to find a way to describe it. Well, it was east of where you are now, but it was west of Garland and sort of south.
Vindar, can I borrow the map?
Yeah, I'll open up the map and.
I'm gonna play a quick game of hot or cold.
Just like holding it up to the stone in his hand.
Pretty much.
Mm-hmm. All right, she plays hot and cold with you until she tells you that's it.
All right, I marked the spot.
Okay. Now what?
Please tell me this is not the spot. I show it to Dusty.
I see. Well, what's he doing in here? Not one of the party.
He's like, oh, I was hoping recruit.
and
no,
none
I
of us
guess-
noticed this
God,
Goliath
God
just.
paid well.
One of the other Dragonborn for whom I don't have a token, so we'll just have to imagine them. Guess what? You get to be Dragonborn now.
I'm back.
Is going
Here's some
to
Dragonborn.
is going to lean over the map along with Dusty, and Dusty's going to scratch his chin and say, "No, that's not near the location. That's far too distant to the east."
Alright.
The other Dragonborn, however, like reaches out a hand, like just like slaps him on the side of the head and then like presses it to his chest, like excitedly trying to get his attention. He's, what? He says, no, hold on. And she pulls out a piece of paper and starts scratching out words onto it. You can see, Cyrus, that she's doing calculations.
Okay. Can I try and make sense of the calculations as she's making them?
Roll an intelligence check of some kind.
I'm hoping that this isn't like, oh no, this is where his head is. That's where his tail would be.
Drift from the sand.
She stops calculating and looks up gravely at Laramendos. We hadn't figured for it.
For what?
So we have been scrying in the wrong place. Perhaps.
She like kind of narrows her eyes at you and says, "We have been scrying in the wrong place."
Because the sandstorms moved it.
Because the sandstorms were moving everything. For 500 years.
Frick.
Frick.
It's entirely probable that this would be the new location of the remains of Shisharin.
How long would it take to get there on foot?
Can we scry there first?
I'm curious on how long, because that changes how long.
Yeah, because it pushes it further east.
Mm-hmm.
She looks at you and does another couple calculations. Says, using Dunanolians to travel, that would push it out from a 4-day trip to a 7-day trip.
Oh God.
So we may have time if we can hurry. So scrying, anyone, please.
I can score at a location I haven't been.
So it's
Dusty places a hand on the Dragonborn woman's shoulder and nods, and she departs the room. They're going to scry. We'll see the results soon. But in the meantime, didn't your friend, he's looking at Jebel, just tell us that it's already occurred?
It's possible. It could be the start, if it was only small.
Which means that it is already too late for us to get there and interrupt things if it had started. When was the tremor?
Are you asking, Syl?
I'm asking in the direction of Jebel.
Well, Syl had said it was a couple days after the storm stopped.
You
So
could
when
let
that
Jebel
been...
answer.
Okay, sorry.
No, if Cyrus is answering, then
Nope, you go.
that's what she said, though.
She said that it was shortly after the Garland vault disappeared, but if the way that she tried to initially describe where it had occurred is any indication, magnitudes are something that elude her.
Mm-hmm.
It happened a while ago. I mean, after Garland disappeared, and before we got back here.
Out of character, how many days was it exactly that it took us to get here?
You had moved very quickly, so it had been a total of 3 days to get back from the dungeon, from the temple, from the vault. God, I can't think of the right word. Dungeon, temple, vault.
So there's a chance that quake was too early to have been from the awakening of Shisharin.
would they need to merely be in the location of the resting spot, or would they need to have access to a body to perform this ritual?
According to all of our writing, they simply need some piece of the remains.
Then wouldn't the scale itself be enough?
It would be, if the scale wasn't tainted by a silver dragon.
I see.
Perhaps they're trying to unbury it.
That could be the case, depending on how much sand's piled on the top. And if you got the location wrong initially, what are the chances that they are in the wrong spot?
It's possible. But if this is somebody who is directly working for this end, I would imagine that they already knew where the body is, or had access to it.
Or has followed it.
You've suggested that the people who took the scale from the city were kobolds. Can you be certain?
If Kobold is a little scaly person that is small enough to stack on top of each other inside a trench coat, yes.
Yes, the things that tried to hire us were definitely kobolds.
Kobolds devote themselves to dragons, trying to earn their favor, wanting to serve them. They're sycophantic when it comes to the ancient terrors.
Cyrus don't believe they exist.
Well, they do.
That was out of character. I was just trying to squash that. Anyways,
You didn't specify.
I did not, so that's now in character, I suppose. Let's say as a joke.
I find it odd that a sorcerer who claims to be the son of a dragon would not know of the existence of kobolds, but it is
was
not
a
every
joke.
day that I run into a group such as yours.
It was a joke. I know they exist.
Sorry, that went over my head.
I hope for all of our sakes that it is not too late, but I think that it is far too likely that these creatures came with knowledge of where that body lay, so they could go straight there once they had their prize. And they've been fishing in the city, according to your friend Lynn, for a while, trying to hook an adventurer to do it for them.
On a related but different note, now when we know that these scales do exist and are not only a part of a fairy tale, how would one come to make one? Like, would it be possible to trap them again?
We've been using the scales to keep them trapped, because the scales are the only thing that can release them, at least to the best of our knowledge. The scales were created from the result of ancient bouts between the dragons, the children of Tiamat and the children of Bahamut, which is why each of these scales is a fusion of their reciprocal creature, a gold and a red, a black and a silver, and so on.
See.
So the answer is no.
The answer
Comrade?
is they all already exist. And they have been hidden and safeguarded for 1,000 years.
Yes, but we wouldn't know how to trap them again, no. Like if they were to be released, like Bala, like...
You would first need the scale. And then you would need to defeat the dragon.
Oh,
That's gonna be easy.
Yeah, that's
They
what I was
cannot
hoping
be
to...
killed. They are too ancient and powerful, but they can be rendered ineffective, at least according to our stories from the likes of Shagrazir and the ancient warriors who put down the dragons the first time.
Well,
Do you know if black dragons are vulnerable to poison?
Like
let's
you're
back
not.
up one step. According to what you guys have said of the necromancer you fought, wasn't he attempting to sacrifice a dragon?
I mean, he like
That's what
did.
it looked like. I mean, we had revived the dragon.
What
the
dragon?
dragon was dead.
What are you talking about?
The gold dragon.
A gold dragon was
The
captured.
Gold dragon.
What do you mean, the gold dragon?
Zeltharis.
The Guardian of the East.
From what they've told me, Zeltharis was killed, but they resurrected her.
Correct.
That did happen.
She owes us a favor.
Had
I'm
her
not
resurrected.
sure if it's possible for a scaled reptile to blanch. But he does a pretty good imitation. The Guardian of the East was killed by a necromancer.
I believe there was some sort of item used.
Were you there?
He
I
wasn't.
was not.
We
Then
were.
I want to hear from someone who was.
I'll, gesture towards the rest of the group then.
Well,
A
he had
necromancer.
her. He had her chained up in some magical chains, and he performed some sort of ritual to sacrifice her. We have the chains, if that would help.
The chains were merely to prevent her from changing shape.
Alright. She was in human form when she was killed.
Do you know the nature of this ritual?
It required some sort of weird dagger.
Don't all necromantic rituals require some kind of weird, jagged dagger?
Yeah, and there was a stone altar, and
I think that's par for the course, isn't it?
it was very typical necromancer stuff. Then, like,
We're not sure of what his intention was.
Do you know if he succeeded?
no, he did not. We
Or,
defeated him.
to the voice in the sky from Sam. We had a reason to believe that he was trying to summon a demon.
You were traveling in pursuit of the necromancer because the cleric told you the book he stole contained rituals which included, but not limited to, bringing Orcus to this plane of existence. And that is what he intended to prevent, because that seemed the most dangerous thing the necromancer could do.
Okay.
When you got to the dungeon, you were aware that he was in the midst of performing his ritual. When you got to the top of the dungeon, you are aware that he stopped performing his ritual. And the party told you that when they saw this necromancer last, he was a decrepit old man. But when you dispelled the barrier that blocked him from your view, you saw a vibrant young man.
Okay. I can make conjectures about what he was trying to do.
Conjecture.
It is possible he was trying to steal the vitality of the gold dragon. Seems a powerful source of it. A cleric acquaintance of ours was aware that he had stolen a ritual book that contained many rituals one of which was meant to bring Orcus into this realm, which seems to not have either succeeded or been the one that he was intending to. That was apparently the most dangerous one there from the cleric's point of view.
Can I interrupt you for a moment?
Yes.
Just who the hell are you? The Sand Dollar Gang was aware of the existence of your group because of word that came down from Dicosylphus, saying that the heroes who had saved the King of Ebengard were coming through.
Ah, yes.
And now you're telling me that there was a planar threat from a god of undeath.
Possibly.
And
That's
you thwarted that.
I mean,
Yeah,
we're pretty awesome.
We just now defeated a lich that caused the sandstorms in the desert to forever stop.
And you're only on this quest to begin with, because Green Dragon Bala rose and your cord-following paladin swore vengeance against her for some reason?
Yep, I'm gonna kill her.
She did kind of wipe out our Koja.
I'm just trying to figure out if you're following bad luck or if it's following you.
It's
I've been asking
following
the same for a
us.
while.
Then why are you in this city?
I mean, we're following it. It's just maybe also following us.
It's a bit of both.
I'd like to think we're following good luck by having so many good and awesome adventures.
Thank you for the positive attitude.
The good luck is being in situations to thwart, I'd say to Raiken.
You see a while, you thwart it.
Tomato, tomato.
I find it so hard to believe that Bala rose, what, 3 months ago?
It's been busy.
Business is
Busy
booming.
3 months.
And with this new black one rising, maybe the intention is to wake all of them?
At that moment, actually, the door swings open and you hear, "Sir, you need to see this." And the Dragonborn from earlier, accompanied by a third Dragonborn, muscle the way through the crowd into the room and set a looking glass down on the table. And
You might want to make that call.
she indicates it and waves her hand over it a few times, and each time, you know, his mood seems to sour more.
Can it get more worse at this point? His mood, I mean.
Apparently.
Thank you, Cousin Ari. I'll speak with you and the others in a moment. Please, allow me to convey this to them. She, straightens up and nods slowly, leaving the looking glass on the table. Says, "I'll keep the spell going." And she walks out of the room. He picks up this small round mirror from the table and seems to study it in the palm of his hand for a few more seconds before sighing heavily. "This is the location your friend in the jewel indicated to you on the map." And he turns the mirror towards you, and through it you see what appears to be a bird's eye view of an expanse of sand. In the great distance, you can kind of see this hazy gray line separating blue from the brown, and you roll survival.
I got a 2.
Cool.
I got a 13.
Ooh. Well, I'm gonna beat you all to a pulp.
I do hope so. My survival is not good.
Yeah, I got a 25.
Yukikaze has advantage on this.
Oh, fuck.
I got a 19.
Nice.
I got a 9.
Nice.
I got a 17. I didn't roll very well.
Yukikaze?
Kakeyuze. Uh-oh.
Okay, then.
Fell asleep probably with his mic muted so he can't even hear him snoring.
No, getting my dice.
You lucky.
How you gonna play the D&D without the dice? That's just ridiculous.
No, it's because I had my ceiling fixed and things got shifted around. Alright. What am I rolling in?
Survival with
Survival.
advantage.
Survival with advantage. Fire 14. 18.
Okay.
I win.
What was yours again? 19?
25.
25. Okay, so you, Yuki, and Vendar are immediately aware that you're seeing the mountain range that separates Toralos from Thanandir, separating the sky from the desert sand in the distance. So you know that you're pointed this viewpoint while above, off the ground, is looking northward. So you have at least a little bit better understanding of what you're looking at than the others. But all of you notice that this wide expanse of, yellow sand is marred right in the middle of the image by a black and chalky scar. It looks like a pit, given the viewpoint and the smallness of the image, maybe a dozen or a couple dozen feet deep, and maybe, 50 feet across or so, forming a crater not terribly like, but not completely unlike, the one left behind when the Vault of Garland disappeared. And the silence is broken by Syl saying, "It's a hole!"
Yes, it is.
What does that mean?
Bad
That
news.
whatever was there is not there anymore.
Means we're probably too late to stop it.
What will
I
you
think
do,
we're best
Jebel?
Probably at this point.
Can am I? Who's holding the thing, the looking glass?
That would be Dusty, the Dragonborn, at the front of the room.
I'm just gonna say, can this view change or is it fixed?
He's going to look at it and then clear his throat once or twice and say, Cousin Arik has the ability to change it. Is there something other than this that you wish to see? She was showing me other angles on the same location.
Yeah, did you see anything else? Or is it just...
Confirmation
this-
that this
like
is
this-
a deep pit in the sand.
No, I meant in the sky.
There's like a beat, and then he shouts, Cousin Arik, get in here now!
Good call. Thermidus, can you make a call? Because, probably about that time.
Yes, it's probably a good idea.
The door opens, permitting the female dragonborn back in, who strides quickly around your party as best she can, up to the desk, and then he tells her what he wants to see, and she quickly whispers some draconic words and waves her hand over the mirror multiple times, and then just sort of sadly shakes her head. No. It appears that it did not just happen. There's nothing in the sky nearby.
Where would Chasharan likely go first?
What do you know about black dragons?
Nothing. They're
they
Do I
black.
Good
know
acid.
anything, or knowing me, do I just know?
Arcana and nature checks.
Could it just be
Arcana
going
is a
south to the
17.
swamp?
Nature is poop. At about 7.
Laramandus?
Arcana and nature, you said?
Yes.
Arcana is a 24, and nature is a nature is also nature is a 20.
Okay.
Both of mine are poop, so I'm not even gonna bother.
Raiken? Okay. Leah?
No, hold on. Arcana is 21. Nature is 2.
Nice.
I got a
love my dice are
7
getting broken.
Arcana, but I got a nat 20, so 21 on
Nature.
nature.
Oh, you beat
Got
me
a
in nature.
Jebel?
I got a 6 in Arcana and an 18 in Nature.
Okay. I like that, like, everybody just got one of them good, and it was all different throughout the group.
Hey, I got both of them good.
Okay,
I
you're
got
right.
both poop.
Yeah, it's
I
true.
got a 24 and a 20
It's true.
because
it's
they
true.
were int checks.
I don't know shit about magic, but apparently I know nature.
I rolled a 16 and a 1.
Okay. So those of you that rolled high Arcana, you're aware that, like any dragon, they are capable of using arcane magic, as they are one of the progenitors of arcane magic. You do, however, understand that the dragons that are common in the world, the chromatics are less given to using direct arcane spells than the metallic dragons, relying more on their physical prowess and special effects of just their magical nature. Whereas the metallic dragons have a repertoire of spells that they will use in their defense. That's what Arcana, people who rolled high on Arcana know. People who didn't roll high on Arcana, dragons are magic.
Probably.
Makes sense.
People who rolled poorly on nature figure black dragons, like other dragons, probably like caves and declaring dominion over any creature they deem to be lower than them.
And gold.
Oh yeah, hoarding gold. It's a big one. It's a big one. Those who rolled high on nature, however, because there were the low rolls were all fails and the high rolls were all successes in this case. Those who rolled high on nature are aware that black dragons tend to prefer swamp-like, wet environments, given that they are amphibious. But more than anything, they like to inhabit fallen kingdoms, to lord the fact that they have outlived another societal race.
Balls.
Can I look at the... I'm gonna ask him to show me the pit again.
Yeah, she holds up the mirror and swipes her hand across it a few times while whispering in Draconic, and you see the image changing to multiple different angle shots above the crater, giving you a very good idea of its, 3D roundness.
I want to see if there's any, like, if the sand bunches up in one particular direction.
It seems like a crater. It's almost evenly distributed around it. I suppose there's, a few more piles in the northwest than in the southeast.
Like I meant, would I be able to assume that if it got out and was flying, sand that was on top of it would kind of slough off it and just leave a short trail in a general direction?
You may make that assumption. It's very difficult to discern any trail. Like, you see all the normal ripples and rivulets of sand that form the dunes and, windswept pathways through the desert. There isn't... This seems like it's a bit windblown. You can see that there's some yellow sand at the bottom, where it is mostly, like, black and white, like, kind of chalk down there.
No, I'm impressed we can see this. When I did scrying, only I could see the results. But I am kind of disappointed the hole isn't dragon-shaped.
I'm disappointed as a whole in the first place.
The Dragonborn kind of look at each other, and then back at you, and Kazanari, the female, says, did you not just say that you came from the vaults out in the desert? Fought a lich there?
We did.
And, well, there are stories here. Few, but they talk about ancient civilizations way out in the desert having magic, powerful and strange.
So it's going there.
More mechanic than magic from Garland, really.
There's quite a lot of
go from
magic
that hole to a
tied
different
with the
hole.
mechanics. It's quite fascinating.
She kind of seizes on this and says, Garland.
Like that cool box that turns into a hat. Do we still have that, or did we lose it?
I have it
Turns into a hat.
through the great pain that it took me to hold on to it. We have it. Hut, not hat.
Hut. Oh. I was like, a hat?
I
feel like I remember
the-
a hat.
Yes, the sorting hat. We picked it. We rescued it.
Sorts you into either alive or dead.
Yeah. Usually
You are-
it's
you are-
alive before you put it on, and then as soon as you put it on, it decides dead.
Yeah, you are in Ravenclaw.
Sometime thereafter. So, the stories are true. The myths and legends. The ancient kingdom. The kingdom of magic. It existed. It was real.
Yes.
Was is the word here? Yeah.
It's not there anymore.
But we don't know how much of the old city was taken in the
Well, the vault
Explosion
is not
from the
there
vault.
anymore.
True.
I wouldn't really call it an explosion because we still don't know what happened.
Okay, well, that's the closest I'm going to get since I don't remember it.
It also, it also did not leave a vault-shaped hole.
It left
It was a hole-shaped hole.
A vault-shaped hole.
It left pretty much a perfectly round hole, which very quickly filled in because it's not a shape it could maintain.
Yeah, no, it's that.
So,
The spells taught by the Mages Guild here differ from the spells in other countries.
interesting.
Didn't we manage to bring some books out? I mean, I have some songbooks.
I don't think that's of importance at the moment.
You should take whatever you found there to the Mages Guild, or perhaps the Temple of Ione. I'm sure.
Nah, they're my songbooks.
They can be copied.
Very well.
She wants to be a
In
bard.
any event. Yes, the scrying that we're using is modified. So that other people, besides the caster, can see it, if they so choose.
Oh, could you scry the dragon?
He
That would be
he
extremely
looks to Kazanari, and she you just kind of see her eyes go wide, and with a look of fear, she just shakes her head back and forth.
Doesn't want to piss it off.
Maybe you could scry the kobold that bought the scale.
We do not know the kobold, he says, kind of eyeing Kazanari, and she just sort of, like, she seems to be subtly nodding her head. It still follows the rules of the caster must know something about the target, otherwise it is very likely to fail.
Why I couldn't find Naravar's wife.
So you know.
I know, I tried scrying a few times.
I am sorry, Kazanari says. I do not think that I could best an ancient dragon like Shisharin if I tried to scry on her.
Indeed.
Like
And I do not know enough about this kobold to believe I would succeed there either.
I mean, I couldn't even beat Nalia.
It would take
Not
a
a
very
archer.
powerful magician to overcome her defenses.
Do you mean the Archmage of Bromdor?
Yes.
You know her.
No.
An old acquaintance.
Uh-huh.
Wink, wink, nudge, nudge, say no more.
Wink, wink,
She was
nudge,
my
nudge,
student.
slap.
Right, student.
Yes.
This honestly seems to set Kazanari back on her
not many
heels.
people,
And it's
wanted to
normal for
study
students to-
anthropology.
It's normal for students to jump in your arms as soon as they see you, yes?
I mean, it had been quite some time. I suppose. I can't remember the name of Kalimdar. Kalimdar didn't, but
I just shake my head.
Permission to point out something that Rowan knows to the party, just to remind them.
Is it something you believe the party know?
Yes, because it was sent by Skype chat to everyone but Laramendis.
oh,
Then I need everyone but Laramendis to make a history check.
Oh, okay. Don't use that die. Fuck you.
Don't hate the die.
New dice don't agree.
Yeah, there we go. 20. Plus, actually, 23.
You may send it by text to Raiken.
I got a 19.
And
You said this was
19.
history?
And Vendar. Yes, history.
2.
Not Leah.
you can say
Not Leah.
Was
Yeah.
no
I sold
Jebel
out.
did
Well,
Jebel
Jebel
Jebel met
wasn't there.
Rowan, but was he there at the time of what
He
you're
was
talking
not
about?
there at the time.
Okay, was
Okay,
Yukikaze?
Yeah.
Okay, Yukikaze, what did you get on history?
22.
Okay, also, so just everybody but Leah. Just send them
Yeah,
a quick
I was likely bored and distracted.
message.
All right. One moment.
Laramendis is also running the sending by the group that I have messaged.
Did you, like,
here.
write it down in your book and say, I'm gonna send this, and then, like, show it to everybody?
Yeah.
Okay.
Is there any other information that you think should be conveyed in place of anything
Is
else?
this in verse?
What?
Those wizard of adventurers who resurrect.
I just took out a lot of meaningless words.
Just the first
Like
sentence.
is.
The first sentence just looks like it's verse.
That sentence was on the butcher block for the other sentences.
This wizard of adventures who resurrected.
Just totally befuddled by that first sentence.
We just get a sending back from. We just get the response back from her that's just like,
Huh? Are you
Who are you?
are you surrounded by bards right
how
now?
did you get this number?
He's surrounded by bards.
Yeah, it's
Wrong number. Who this?
New phone.
like what was it? Was it written by the bard in Witcher?
Yeah, is this my dandelion?
I need to. Yes, I must speak in verse, otherwise they'll kill me.
That was not spoken in the verse.
I like
that.
that like the ancient language in Witcher is basically just Elvish but sung.
Yeah, I like how The Witcher kind of started exactly how Game of Thrones started. There's just nudity everywhere.
Well, that is how the books went.
Well, yeah, the games.
The show is based almost entirely on the books.
But at one point I was like, I wonder which one has more nudity.
Yeah, because the show takes place all before any of the games.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, he doesn't even have a beard. Witcher 3.
This is sidetracking. Sorry for bringing it up.
Is there any information that people think should be conveyed in place of any other information written here?
A second.
Oh my god! Just the word that was used.
That's the exact wording. I might have misspelled it, but that's the wording.
It's true. That is
Right,
how
you
I
said
phrased it when I sent it to the party. Also, well, I would say that I reversed the proper nouns in the way that it's phrased.
Alright. Sorry. But it gets the point across.
Alright, that was sent to me. Should it
I mean, everybody's aware.
Am I aware?
No.
Oh, I didn't.
No.
Sorry.
The rest of the group is snickering at you.
This is absolutely a methinks the lady doth protest too much situation.
I'm confused by your question, Jebel.
No, that's not a. That's Would that be better? I don't know if it's
Expected resting place here near Toralos?
no here, as in it's.
Well, you're not in Toralos right now.
Oh,
You're in
Where are we?
Calavar, which is the fracture nation that used to be part of Toralos, and then it stopped being part of Toralos, and includes
Oh,
pretty
right,
much
yeah.
just the city of Tuca.
But the resting place is in Toralos, right?
Yeah, it's in the desert of
okay.
Toralos.
So then, just a way to let her. Does she? I don't know if anyone's explained this to Jebel. Like, can she home in on the thing?
I don't
Like,
know.
Like, if you send to her, does she know where the bracelet gauntlet thingy is?
I
No,
think
you have to
this-
the gauntlet to do that.
Okay, yeah, I didn't remember spelling.
Yeah, that's why I called it nitpicking. The meaning was clear.
Yeah.
El Toro Las.
Okay, so Nobody has any problems with this sending?
My
Looks
only
good to
issue
me.
is just I don't know if she, like, we're trying to call her to where we are.
My
I would try to
goal
inform
with
her.
the sending is just to inform her of what is happening in case she is unaware.
Oh. I thought the subject, or the the person you were sending it to was different, so now that first sentence makes a lot more sense.
Oh, who did you think we were sending to?
Nalia.
Oh,
that would
no, if I was going to Nalia, I'd probably just use Ash. Even though we're like 45 minutes from each other. Okay, yeah, no, that, yeah.
Now I understand
The first sentence was supposed to be like, "This is why you know me and why I'm able to send to you,
so the
and
sending
why you might
says,
care."
This wizard of adventurers who resurrected. Got rid of the word is.
Yes,
That's
because
funny.
I hit 25 words.
Yeah, I know. Have reason to
the first
believe
sending in a
Shasharan
while that
returned
I've
to
needed
world
all of that.
suspected resting place in Toralos disturbed. Similar seismic activity. Bala's reawakening. Okay.
Sounds good to me.
And
Okay.
because I didn't, I want to make sure everybody else understands. He intends to perform the spell Sending and talk to the gold dragon.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, I turn to Dusty, and I say, "Do I have permission to perform a sending?"
He stares evenly at you for a full 3 seconds, and then you see his eyes track around the room, like the walls, and then, like, without turning his head, just sideways toward the woman who's been doing scrying, and says, "No, don't. It's against the law." In that tone.
My insight is high enough. I see. I send.
I can't believe you're on a sending basis with a gold dragon.
Well, to be fair, I have never done it before towards her.
He takes a step back from the desk. as does Cousin Ari.
That's okay. We're friends.
I mean,
We say
sure.
I'm gonna,
Nobody's ever burst into flames because of magic.
I'm gonna just I'm gonna move away too. Just
At
for
that
sure.
comment, Vendor will go ahead and take a step back.
Oh, come now. She's most likely far too far to.
Vendar will,
have any
or Raiken
effect
will step
immediately.
next to
Thank you for the
Larabendis
support.
proudly.
I mean,
I'm
she
just
may
gonna
be
stand
family,
there.
but she also may not know.
I step next to Laramendus proudly and summon my armor.
I'm just gonna look at Lorelei and shrug.
I don't know why you guys are so worried. She's awesome. She's a gold dragon.
Doesn't mean she necessarily knows who things are coming from. I just, best to be sure.
That was the purpose of the first sentence of the sending.
Who else resurrected her?
There's only one.
I've never met her.
Lorelei flutters down and lands on your shoulder, folding her arms across her chest.
I'm not gonna
Stands
move
there
away.
stoic. Okay. There are long seconds stretching as it takes. How long? Are you casting it as a ritual?
It's not a ritual spell.
Oh, okay. So it just takes the 6 seconds.
Yeah.
Okay.
And as long as she is on this plane of existence.
I mean, even if she's not, there's still a chance.
Can you have call blocking
Oh, yeah.
on sending?
It's just a 5% chance if she's on a different plane that it will fail. What was that?
Can you get a return to sender from a sending?
I mean, you can get like a 25-word pause.
The person you're trying to reach is not available now. Leave a message after the bit. Ran out of words.
Feel free to waste another spell slot sending again.
Sorry, I'm just trying to make sure that I have the right names. You got a sender demon?
What?
You never.
Raiken
You're too
and,
old. You're too young to remember the mailer demons. If you entered a email address incorrectly, you would get an email called mailer demon that would tell you that it was a not active email address.
They spell that with an A.
Yeah, Daemon, demon.
Oh, that's fine.
For program stuff, it's always demon, like that.
Is it?
Yeah.
I didn't know that was a industry thing. Okay, here we go.
Oh, Ash, gold dragons are good. Usually.
Okay, so I guess this is to you then, Samuel.
I am most likely to relay the message word for word, but
Yeah, but I want it. Let me actually do it this way. Let me copy yours.
Just send it back.
No, I'm doing this so that there is a pinned record of it in my chat with
where we have
Sam.
all of the sendings.
Yeah.
Do you want me to add it in so it's from me and all that?
No, I've got it.
Okay.
I'm already doing that bit. I've already done that bit, I should say. One, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Nothing. Okay, well, I know where it is. Okay, almost there, sorry.
Did I send today, or did I just forget to hit long rest?
Long rest.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm pretty sure I did
There we
not
go.
send today.
Exactly 25.
Not wasting a single word.
How'd
Just
you
get those
get?
files
That
back.
is unfortunate.
How'd you get this number?
Where was it? What was it? A message? Where was the message that had who the?
I just typed in Seltharis and search in your chat.
Okay.
Because there is a I captured all 5 of them in one.
Okay.
imagine getting a restriction order with a dragon.
A restraining order.
A restraining order, yeah.
You're no longer allowed to send to this dragon under penalty of law.
I don't recognize the last name.
That's fair. You don't know that last name. You can
Can I
roll
roll
history.
history? Okay.
Yes.
That is a 26.
You history aficionado.
+9 does a lot.
Oh yeah.
+9 will forgive
Oh,
a
yeah.
great many sins. As for +13, as Walker well know.
Plus 13 on what?
Nothing. Don't worry about it.
Fun. I received a response. No, fun was Sam.
Yeah, I know.
That's unfortunate. Was Laramandus. I received a response. It is, and I quote, "Nashir is dead. Someone schemed this for a long time. I was conveniently away when the scale was taken. I must return. Checking Elsmonth first. Elsmonth? How is it?
Elsamanth.
Elsmonth. I'm going to post it in the channel.
Elsament?
So
People
that
can see.
means her brother's dead then.
Like, if it's possible for scales on a half-dragon tiefling to pale, they're paling.
Yeah, Laramandus doesn't look like particularly hale.
So, this world is fucked. Let's move to a different one.
That is quite difficult. I mean,
Not
it depends
worries,
on the
Frank.
status of the
Someone who
Feywild.
That is
But-
not the response I expected from a group that has supposedly stopped an incursion by Orcus, defeated a lich, saved a kingdom, and now comes to me in my time of need to protect the
It wasn't-
world from the ancient
Well, I-
manic
I-
dragon.
I mean, we're just a bunch of adventurers.
They don't speak for the group. They certainly don't speak for me. I will help in whatever way I can.
So if Tiamat's kids can't be killed, then how come Bahamut's kids can?
Perhaps that is where Bala went. Just because a mortal can't kill one of them doesn't mean that one of their
Kin?
kin felt too strong. But one of the other dragons.
Or maybe the
Could not.
stories are wrong and they actually can be killed. No one has
Raiken
just
flexes his
succeeded.
muscles. I'll be the first mortal to kill a dragon of Tiamat.
So what if they're like trying to bring Tiamat into this world?
Let's hope they're not.
Well, they're apparently collecting all of their children.
And removing the
Well,
others. Bahamut's. Completely lost the name there.
what about the other children of Tiamat?
So are we sure that they're not being awakened as we speak?
That's why I want to know.
That is
We
what I
know.
want to know, which is
What?
why I was so disturbed when you said Karasov had risen. Sorry, Raiken, go ahead.
No, that I wasn't really going to add anything else.
Do you have
no.
ways of ascertaining the safety of any other scales that might be used to reawaken the others?
It may be possible, yes. This faction's goal was purely the protection of the scale of Shisharin. But I
It does
know...
seem wise to split the knowledge away from people to... And now I wouldn't say... Laramendus would not say that. Sam thinks that. Laramendus would... Never mind, take that back.
Put that right back in the ball.
You just feel this pressure in your mind from Ash.
I wish that Laramendus would think that way sometimes, but no, he wouldn't. So yeah, I don't say that because that was dumb.
So, I'm not sure how to phrase this question, but we were aware that a number of things up north had been dislocated. A number of creatures, the griffins, the rock. There might have been something else. Oh wait. No, was that... No. Cyrus was rock, but he was not with Griffin, so I don't mention the Griffins, but I mentioned the rock.
Yeah, we did mention this to you, though.
So, is there possibly a dragon resting place up in that area that could have just disturbed something like a rock to get it to change habitat?
Dragon, not necessarily one of the children of Tiamat.
So
Bala
there's
did
no
have her
dragons up.
brood in Arcosia. Could have been a different, just other dragons that were in the area because of other reasons.
Bala
Fair enough,
rose with a
but...
brood. Bala rose with a brood. What do you mean? How many? It was more than just Bala.
Oh, there were
Arcosia
hundreds
is
of eggs.
overrun.
She attacked with an army of other green dragons.
Young ones.
There were tons and tons of babies, and then a few younger ones, and then a few older ones.
Too.
There was one fairly large one that Paulina exploded.
Someone has definitely been planning this.
She turned the whole of the Cedar Bahamut into a nesting ground.
And then, from what I understand, either coincidentally or what I expect not to be, the drought came in and took a lot of the artifacts, including 2 pieces of the armor of Bahamut.
The drow.
Sword and shield.
How soon
drow-
after?
Shortly. It was drow and like these spider things and the dwarves, like the black dwarves. What are they called?
Striders.
Dwergar.
Yes, that.
If the Underdark is working with the dragons,
We thought that just took advantage of the situation.
No, if someone's been planning this, I highly doubt it's a coincidence. And someone has been planning this.
Would kobolds be related to the Underdark?
kobolds
No.
are related to dragons. Kobolds serve and help dragons. Kobolds benefit from their draconic masters by living in their caves.
So no,
Kobolds
not
would-
the Underdark.
Kobolds are not associated directly with the Underdark, no. But the Underdark may be associating with dragons, and indirectly with kobolds.
Oh, we're not going to have to visit the Underdark, are we?
I mean, we'd already kind of
have to
planned
in search of the armor.
So yes, at some point we have to, but
There's nothing out in the desert. He seems to, like, freeze suddenly, like, staring straight ahead, sightlessly.
Yep. Which means they're likely coming to wherever the closest resources are, which
We need to evacuate the city.
Yep.
Now! He actually immediately leaves the room and begins rallying the people outside. Leaving you alone.
I turn to the group. Is the city not capable of withstanding an attack? I suppose if the dragons come too, then if it was just Drow, that would be one thing. Oh dear.
Indeed.
He's outside the door issuing orders, like all of the Dragonborn and the Goliaths and Tieflings have come and formed up in front of him like a military unit almost. There seem to be about 20 of them total in the house, many of them in the gleaming silver armor of the City Watch. And he's giving them the quick rundown of everything they need to do and how quickly it needs to be done.
Should we not cause panic, though?
I'm going to send to... Sam is blanking on Yukikaze's father's name.
Ryuzaki.
Ryuzaki. To inform him as well. I believe that it is... He should know.
Hopefully you don't get on. This line's been disconnected.
Is Naramedis letting everyone know what he's doing?
Oh, that was... Laramandus was saying that to everyone.
And then Jebel will just say, we should actually probably go to the Temple of Ion and warn them too.
Yes. I would prefer not to send out in the streets.
Dusty, what do you want to do?
Like common folk!
No, I don't wish to draw the ire of the guards. It makes walking from one place to another more difficult.
The Dragonborn Dusty is going to return to the room and say, You need to gather your loved ones and get out of here as fast as possible. It's, as I said, a black dragon will seek to fill the kingdom and use it as her seat of power, as it were. And this city has no defenses against an acid attack. Sandstone melts more easily than other stones. He looks up at the ceiling a moment and says, This building would likely last longer than any other around because it's one of the oldest and was built before the desert.
Well,
Specifically why we chose it.
Is running all we can truly do?
You think we're ready to handle the Black Dragon?
No, not an ancient one.
Leah, what did you say?
I am pretty powerful.
No, nothing important.
Okay.
I have the climax song, just in case.
Don't say that as a joke. We may need it before this day is over.
Immediately.
I never joke about the climax song.
Yes, you do.
No, I
all the
don't.
time.
How long
You've had it for like 3 days and you've joked about it like 6 times.
We need to get Nalia and we need to get Narvar.
I still think we should get to the Temple of Ion. There's a lot of stuff in there.
Isn't that where Nalia and Narvar is?
No, they're in the Mages Guild.
Oh, right. I mixed those two.
Constructing my sending, and then I intend to leave.
Okay.
I'm just counting words at this point. Fuck.
I never hoped this day would come.
Lorelai, is it possible to convey information to Sintaramel about a recent discovery?
If that is what you wish me to tell him, I can tell him.
Yeah, we might need to spread the news in the Feywild as well, if possible.
Give me some time.
Maybe there's allies.
She's going to take up a cross-legged position on your shoulder and enter what looks to be a meditative state.
There's no time to waste. Let's get moving. I'm gonna start heading for the Mages Guild. Or the Temple of Ione, whichever's closer.
Who wanted to go to the Temple of Ione?
Me.
Jebel.
And Laramendus.
Yes.
Well, we shouldn't divide up everyone in every direction. At least go off in pairs of two. We're gonna separate.
We're not dividing. We're going to the same place. Just,
Are we
come
all-
on.
We gotta get the cart.
That is the least of our worries right now.
I don't want to lose the cart again.
Yeah, well, some more stuff is there too.
I'd
If you
rather
don't
lose
get
it.
If you don't get
Then-
it quick enough, you're going to lose more than just a card.
Okay,
Yeah,
I
we
have
gotta
sent Laramendus is good to go.
Okay.
I'd rather lose a cart than a friend today. I already lost family.
Watch as we push the door open, acid flies at us.
Don't joke about that.
But the card is like a long lost friend.
It was long and lost for a while.
We found it. Water barrel and all.
Oh, Nene, how I missed you.
Nene's
You seem
gone.
to know the quick ways. Lead on.
Nene's likely glue right now.
Don't say that.
Jeez.
Don't say that. Nene deserves a royal burial, just like Squeakers.
Oh god.
You keep getting all your animals killed.
Maybe I'm not a very good owner.
Leah, show us the way through the passages to get us to the Mages Guild.
On it.
Temple of Iron.
Whichever's closer. It's 10:30. That seems a good stopping point. Do we want to stop, or do people want to continue?
I'm pretty tired.
Yeah, I wouldn't mind getting some rest actually.
Maybe we should stop at a place so that we know where we are next time.
So just
Very
pick
good.
one of the locations.
What is
Laramendus would
closest?
prefer to head to the Mages Guild first.
Which one was closer?
They're basically the same place, aren't they?
The Ione, Temple of Ione and the Mages Guild?
Yeah, aren't they like right next to each other?
They're not right next to each other. This is the Temple of Ione here. And this is the Mages Guild.
So we should go to the temple first.
The
Yeah.
temple, by straight
temple is much
line
closer.
distance, especially with Leah's help, is going to be quicker to get to.
Okay. Yeah, then we'll go to the temple
Okay.
first.
Temple it is
And
first.
you're here. Okay. Well, that is your destination. If that's where people want to stop, we will pick it up as you're on your way there.
What does it say on the lower right? It looked like it said silver orgasm.
The Silver Dragon Inn?
Silver orgasm.
What? On the lower right? Ah. Huh. When you
do-
zoomed all the way out, it looked like it said silver orgasm.
I gotta admit, that's
Orc
one thing I
Tusk,
don't
Light of Arathis, very upscale. Silver Dragon Inn. Regulation? Import-export
Okay.
regulation?
What has this child been into?
No, I can see it, dragon. I mean,
Like if you zoom all the way out.
You need to put some parental sensory.
That's like the
on
one
this
thing I
poor
don't
child.
like about this program. No matter how
See,
far
see,
in
now
or
it
out you
goes
zoom,
way-
the labels are the
if
same.
you're if you're scrolling fast, I can see where he's coming from.
Yeah, it's like very blurry on my end, so it's like hard to tell.
Did that book that I pulled from the Lich's domain live past the explosion?
Yes. The
The companion book?
yeah, the companion book, yes. You still have it.
Okay, cool.
It's not the one I expected you'd be interested in, but yes.
Good, because I
Out
plan to
of
read that one
the books
after I
in
got my
that
book
room,
back.
it was one that I hadn't been aware of.
Which reminds
weren't a
me, I
lot of-
still
it was
had
the
to
only
try
book
and
in
get
that
that book
room.
back. But
I think it was the
it's
only
not
book in
important
that room.
right
So, XP.
now.
XP. Yep, everybody may take 600.
Hey.
And may I get inspiration from one to ignore possible dangers in favor of information?
You mean taking them to the, Platinum Sentinels in the first place?
Yep.
Yeah.
I am going to convey to Yukikaze that his father says that there are no storms in the immediate future, and the tribes are going to go into hiding to be safe from the Black Dragon should they be around and attacking things.
Okay.
I appreciate you messaging my father, learn of this.
At some point I'll get more of the city flushed out.
Hey, maybe we'll get lucky
Yeah, you can
and
start
one of the
adding some
dragons
ruins
will
now.
destroy Bromdor instead, and then we won't have to deal with that shit.
You're so hopeful about being able to get this dragon to attack your enemies.
I mean, I have advantage from +7 on persuasion checks against dragons.
Uh-huh. Are you a bard?
No.
Nope.
Why would I have to be a bard?
Because this is tantamount to trying to fuck the dragon.
Fair
No,
enough.
it's trying to fuck Bromdor.
With a dragon! This is a artifact level magic item dragon strap-on with which to fuck mine enemies.
Bromdor's got all
the
sorts of
dragon.
gold. They're nice. Got a nice hoard to sit on.
So everybody recorded the EXP?
600?
Yep.
Yep.
Uh-huh.
Yep.
Only
I'll
7,800
probably be back in a
away.
minute, but I need food.
I'm glad we finally got to play again. I was losing my mind.
It's been a while.
I'm just glad that the thing that Rowan had found out, or at least consider was a likely possibility a while ago, has finally come to light.
I just think it's funny that it has bearing all of a sudden.
Good night, guys.
Night now.
Night.
Do I get to know now that we're out of game?
No, because it still has bearing on your character, and it's still something that your character doesn't know. It's funnier this way. Maybe someday, Seth.
Maybe
I'll get it out of
someday.
Leah by just quoting her fanfiction.
Excuse me?
What?
That would totally
You
work.
don't know that. Shush.
What?
I don't know that you know or the fanfiction because I did read it.
He did.
Yeah.
Remember there was the address, and I was like, I was looking at it for
Yeah.
a little bit,
So
reading
Leah
text,
didn't remember.
and I was just like, oh,
Well, no, I
This
do
isn't an
remember,
address.
but just shush. Shush, shush, shush. You saw nothing.
And he's got eidetic memory.
yep.
If he's seen the page, he can read it from memory.
No,
Regardless
he
if read it the
he
first
didn't
time.
see anything. He only saw a blank piece of paper.
Nope.
Lara Mendes didn't say anything about it though, other than this isn't an address.
I tore it. I tore it up. How did it survive?
He tore up something.
Witchcraft.
Larmendus did actually read it that first time, and he just made a bunch of copies of it that he keeps about his person and just like drops them every once in a while.
If Larmendus was Sam, that would have been the case.
That would have been beautiful.
When did you tear this up?
In Galen. But I don't think it was behind the purple wall.
Then, what are the chances you actually tore up Rowan's goodbye note?
Shit.
Oh no!
No one remembers Rowan anyway.
Rowan who?
That is actually very possible.
I think this will be one of my favorite recordings just because of all the long pause followed by shit remarks.
Yeah, this was the bleep episode.
Yeah, things are a lot worse than we thought they were.
Things are bad. Things are bad. Things are really, really bad.
It's almost like things are coming to a head.
Oh, got him.
Anyways, back to food. Bye.
Yup.
Right.